This is Curtis coming at you from Ace Per Head Studios. We're going to get back into football. We're going to stay with the AFC East. And we're going to see how the Patriots respond to their first preseason game. And post that game, and post all the moves they've done this season, should the AFC East be worried about this back-to-the-past Patriots? Now, I don't like the Patriots as a Dolphins fan. As a football fan, though, when the game's not on, I try to be objective. And all I keep hearing is the Patriots are being dismissed. Even Omar Kelly, who writes for the Miami Dolphins, he was saying he didn't like any of the moves. He thought it was the dumbest moves. He thought they're going nowhere. And I even talked to some Pats fans, and surprisingly, plenty of them like, it's rebuilding time, forget about it. Me, I see something different. Not saying I'm right, and not saying I want to be right, but the Patriots have bucked the system in the past. Sometimes it's come back to bite them, and it hasn't been a success, but more times than not, it has. And this return to pretty much the original template of how Belichick formed his first team when he became the coach of the Patriots, and this older style of offense, it's just very, very intriguing for me. I'm an old school guy, and I want to see the run game. I want to see the physical style of play. I want to see it work. Not necessarily against my Fins, but it is very intriguing experiment when you look at it from a football perspective. Now, what did we learn from the preseason game? You can't build cakes and houses and stuff out of preseason, but you can take nibbles and start building the structures with preseason. You get to see the live action of the players you love, the players that you're evaluating, the teams you love, the teams you're evaluating, and it's not secondhand from guys at camp, the media guys. You get to use your own eyes. And if you really study hard, you can learn a lot from preseason, or else they wouldn't even be playing it. The coaches do. And the first thing that popped out was what a win signing Judon was for the Patriots. Now, Judon's got a phenomenal name. It's like some mythical warrior. Just a great, great name. But he's a really good player, man. I really enjoyed watching him for the Ravens. And it was kind of like a semi-unheralded signing by you guys. And I thought he was a perfect Belichickian player. He's good at just about everything. And oddly enough, at 261 pounds, his best asset, according to PFF, is coverage. Over 107 snaps, he graded out 73, and his overall grade was 66. So it was almost a full 7 points higher in coverage, which you wouldn't expect. But there was a play last night where he was coming for the blitz and popped back out on that short pass play. It was like a slant. I can't remember exactly what it was. And it was almost intercepted. And you got to see this guy could do that. He could come and be physical and bring the hits. This is a quality player and a huge upgrade. And honestly, as a Fins fan, when I got to see those three faces, I got to see Van Noy and Hightower and Judon. I was like, oh man, that's a pretty formidable group there. And they're just behind a very deep and broad defensive line / edge players. And you guys didn't even have Winovich last night. And I'm learning about Josh Uche, who looked very intriguing. Guy looks like super athletic. And it seems like from what they were saying last night, I could do some more studying, his role's increasing. Maybe you Pats fans can give me some wisdom on him. I'm really interested in looking to see how he's going to come up. But that deep front seven. And then another player that I was very intrigued by, who I heard Belichick got some junk over for drafting in the second round, is Kyle Duggar. I thought he had a pretty decent season last year for a rookie. 6'2", 220, big force. He popped up a little bit. And I think that's another enforcer to this front seven, this very physical front. And you got to see it that It's very Belichick style defense. Bend but don't break, give up some yards. But when it comes to that key moment, you get physical and you make the smart play. And they showed that last night. Now, last year was a very difficult year for your team. 7-9. Defense struggled. It was 26 or something like that against the run. Or some was really the bottom third of the league. And then in your pass rush, the same thing. But you got to see some pass rush, and then you got to see a little limitations of the run game. Now, the Washington football team's got a good offensive line and some good backs, and they were able to make hay. But it's still early, and you guys weren't game planning to stop them. But this is going to be something to watch going forward. But overall, it looks like a strong upgrade. Now, the O-line is another thing. Without a doubt, the best O-line in the AFC East is the Patriots. And you played last night. Sans Andrews is top 3 or 4 center in the league. He still made hay in the run game. And you still look good. Win. He got beat real bad by Chase Young. But Chase Young is a freak. That swim move blast. Cam came back. He's smaller than I thought he was going to be. Whatever. But that was one crazy. I mean, it shows you how elite pass rushers are just, they're special players. But I would just really not pay attention to that too much. Your interior 3, when Andrews is healthy, each one of them is top 5. This is probably one of the best interiors, if not the best interior 3 in the NFL. And controlling that between the hash stuff, that's kind of like almost forgotten now, except for like maybe the Titans and some other thing like that. But it's like in chess, you want to control the 4 middle squares. And that's the way football used to be, between the hashes. And now it's all about perimeter play and deep play. So it's very, very interesting. And you guys brought back Trent Brown. The tackle spots are a little shaky. Wins good, but always injured. So it'll be interesting to see how Trent Brown played. I don't know if he played last night. I didn't get a chance to check the tape that closely. I'm going to look for it again. Any Pats fans, please comment, let me know. And then the next thing we got confirmed, early confirmation, little seed on the pile, it's not a stamp of approval, is Mac Jones. Now, a lot of people were saying he was going to the Patriots. I was definitely there on it. I said, this guy is a Patriots guy. And there's no way Belichick's just going to ride or die with Cam Newton. Maybe this year, but not long term. Belichick's going to coach for years. I know he wants to break Shula's all-time winning record. I know that. So he's not going to go. I knew he was going for a quarterback. I thought you guys were going to trade up. I was kind of hoping, too, you'd spend the extra capital. But the fact that you sat at 15 and got him at face value was a masterstroke. And Mac Jones got a lot of heat. Obviously, he's not athletic. But people get so caught up in prototypes of this era and that. Any kind of quarterback can make it if they have the proper skill set at a certain magnitude and they're supported. And Mac Jones can be a very effective quarterback as a pocket passer, because you got to see the kid was like cold as ice. He had like this blank stare on him, like nothing seemed to matter. And he had the ability to move up in the pocket. He seemed to have a sense of the action going on around him. He didn't linger too long on receivers. He got the ball out quick, and he had a solid first debut. And you check a lot of rookie quarterbacks, they don't have that solid debut. So this kid, I think, I'm going to do a film study on his performance because I'm very intrigued by him, and I like the underdog, and I thought he got over amount of abuse and ridicule. Wasn't given any kind of respect, get it to the film version. But it looks like he could be a real winner. I'm not saying Hall of Fame or Elite or Brady 2.0, but even a good to a very good quarterback, if that's what he turns out to be, would be an absolute steal for Belichick and the Patriots and their fans. And another confirmation was the run game. And I got that feeling that, the Patriots are going to buck conventional wisdom. Everybody seems to go this way, and they're going to go that way. And it makes sense that if you have such an elite interior set of offensive linemen, that you're going to just pound that football. And especially if you got a good defense, it just makes all the sense in the world. And you have to remember, this is a 17-game season. Teams that cannot run the football, that cannot control the clock, cannot shorten games, and don't have a very deep defense, they're going to get worn out. And teams like the Patriots, who appear to have a very deep defense, if they can shorten games and control that clock, that defense will be fresh late when the big games happen and the big moments happen. So it's a very smart meshing of concepts, scheme, and design. And Damian Harris, again, I really didn't pay much attention to you guys last year. I was just totally focused on the Dolphins. He was, by PFF, was ranked 90.3, the second best running back as far as effectiveness in the NFL last year. Now, it was only over 250-ish snaps. But he had a 78.9 pass blocking grade over 23 snaps, which is not a great number of plays to make a judgment, but he's pretty good. It's enough to say that he's a quality blocker. And you could see last night that he had great movement skills. There was some power there, his ability to hit the hole. He looked like a complete back, and he is your number one back, but he's not going to carry the load, which means he's going to stay fresh. Okay? And then next to him, you got Sony Michel. Okay, I believe he's in a contract here, which means he's going to give extra amount in order to have a successful season. And he had an 80.9 grade over 181 snaps. He's had some injury issues, some inconsistencies. He's looking to have the contract year this year. All right, so, and he had a 73.7 pass blocking grade, but that was only 15 snaps. But, you know, at least he's solid. So these are your first two backs. That's a good group considering the offensive line that you have. Okay? And then, you know, your third is James White, the little guy who makes the big play. He can break it off for a big run, big screen, big pass play. He's just waiting in the wings for his time to be schemed in play call, waiting for his moment. And you know you can rely on him. And then you got Brandon Bolden, who's a consistent player, veteran. That's your fourth guy. A lot of teams, that'd be like the third guy. Good player, very, very, very solid fourth option. But the option that really has me nervous as a Finn fan and has me excited to see how he works with you guys is Ramondre Stevenson. Not a college guy, don't really watch much college unless they come to my team where I do a study. But when I was studying you guys out, I started watching his film and I became like a film junkie. Like, I want to see this guy run. Can he really do this? And you got to see a big, big man with agility, with athleticism. He had lateral ability. He had a little bit of burst. I mean, this kid has the markings that he could be a very nice running back. And just think about it. 6 foot 246, hitting the holes generated by your elite interior line. The linebacker is going to be taking those blows and it's going to suck them dry. I mean, how many snaps will he get? Don't break my Dolphins mug. How many snaps he's going to get? 5, maybe 8, I don't know. But even 5 to 8 good runs, hard-hitting runs, those linebackers are going to feel it, and it's going to set the tone. And he's number 5 on your list. So these guys are all going to be kept fresh. They're all going to have their place. And to me, it's very, very nerve-wracking. If you're a Bills fan or a Dolphins fan or a Jets fan, because Dolphins are like, it's my time. The Bills are saying it's my time. I don't think you can write that check just yet. We'll take a look at how this reflects on the AFC East in just a minute. But this back-to-the-past approach, this methodical these body blows, this reliance on the run game, this 2 tight end look, with a tough D and, the typical Belichick discipline. They're always in the top third of the league of discipline. This is just a nice, well-rounded combination. It's a smart design. Will it be effective? I don't know. If teams get ahead of them, is this going to be, is it going to work? I don't know. But I'm excited to see. It's very intriguing. As an old school guy, as I said, I'm very interested to see it. I would love to see a mixture of styles that still have relevance, and you're just picking and choosing. It could be this or that. I just don't like totally the modern offense with every team I see. So I don't bet against Belichick, not with a good defense, quality running game with quality running backs, a good offensive line, a good defense. It's just not smart to write them off. And when you look at the Patriots in opposition or in contrast to the other teams in the AFC East, it really presents an image that they can cause problems and they can bring themselves to the forefront of the AFC East. So the Jets, second best probably offensive line in the AFC East. They're being designed well. They're being built pretty well. I don't know if Wilson will be a success story, but rookies don't succeed against Belichick, so I don't expect that. But they're being built smart. They seem to have Adam Gase was nuts. It was like one of the most I've had firsthand experiences seeing that with my Dolphins. It was a disaster. This seems so coherent. It seems rational. They got the quarterback. They built the offensive line around him. They made a nice pick of Michael Carter late in the fourth round. They got a few pieces in the free agency and the draft. This seems like a very coherent build. I'm not saying they're going to get out of fourth place, but they could be a spoiler with a game or two within the AFC East. So the Patriots definitely got their number. Then there's the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins, for all intent and purposes, have a mirror defense of the Patriots. A little more athletic, not as physical, not as big, but overall pretty much similar style. I think Flores is taking that moving look, that enigmatic look a little bit farther than Belichick took it, but overall pretty much similar. But the offenses are polar opposites. You've got body blow, methodical versus, new age, athleticism, big play potential, spread it out, and that's gonna. I don't know how that's gonna pan out. I don't know how Tua is gonna respond. I don't know how the receivers are. To me, it's an unknown yet. At least I get to see some Finn stuff. But if that's gonna be, if you take yourself out of the picture as a Finn fan or a Patriots fan, and you just look at the styles and you look at the setup, those are going to be very intriguing games. Very intriguing games to analyze and fun games to watch. But then there's the Bills. Bills have Allen. Did a study on him. Always liked him. Thought the moxie and all this stuff. But when I did a study on him, started watching the film, I really became impressed. And to me, he's head and shoulders, like 2 levels above every quarterback in the AFC East. And his ability to move, his ability to throw, it's the engine to the team. Can he be the engine to overcome the Dolphins and the Patriots? I think he's got a better chance against the Dolphins than the Patriots. And the reason why I say that, I think the kryptonite to the Bills is the Patriots style. Because they could probably win a shootout maybe with the Dolphins. That's like in their wheelhouse. But the Bills, they have good receivers. Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders, who they brought in, is nice. But Patriots and Dolphins have a deep secondary. There's no real tight end per se, but something decent. But the offensive line of the Bills, they have good tackles, pretty decent pass blocking interior, but not really run block, because they had one of the worst. They allowed their running back 1.8 yards before contact, which is extremely low. They were bottom third of the league in rushing the football. They got a good back though, But over the course of a season, as I said, teams that can run the football and have deep defenses are going to benefit. And so, the Bills could come out and win an early game, the early game against them. But as that season goes, their defense is semi-deep in certain areas from what I've seen. They've got some good quality players. There's some players that are talented. They haven't really taken that next step, so we got to see that. But overall, it's not a very deep or elite defense. Not yet. I mean, we got to see how the picks come. We got to see how the development happens. But it would take some serious step forward in their ability to run the football to take the pressure off Allen. And the Patriots, with that run game, that interior strength on both sides of the ball, I think it could be the kryptonite. Not saying it is. Still put the Bills in pole position. But the Dolphins, and especially the Patriots, are nipping at the heels. So anyway, that's the AFC in a nutshell. I wouldn't count out the Patriots. I want to hear from you fans, whether it's Dolphin fans, Bills fans, any, Jets fans, but especially the Patriots fans. Don't count this team out. It's like Freddy Krueger, you think he's dead and whatever, he's coming back, or Jason Voorhees or whatever. Anyway, this is Curtis. If you stayed to the end, please like, comment, and subscribe. We really like to talk football. I like to hear your comments because I'm doing the talking, but I always answer comments. I always like to have dialogue. That's how I learn. I'm no guru. I like the conversation. And the boys in charge say that subscribing and liking helps the algorithm, which, hey, algorithm's good for me. It's good for whatever, please do that. But comments mean the most to me. Okay? So anyway, one final word from Ace Per Head, our sponsor. They want to let you know that this is the perfect time to get in on the action, that their software is world-class software. They're a great company and great sponsor, and they're the best in the industry. So I just want to give a shout out to them because they're amazing. So this is Curtis saying, you Pats fans, as a football fan, I think you're heading in the right direction. As a Fins fan, I like to say I hope it all goes poorly. Anyway, be well. This is Curtis. See you next time.